Let me start at the beginning with The Rock, because this is going to be like a longish video, because this really goes to me being a wrestling fan. So let me start at the very beginning. The Rock was an inspiration. So my wrestling thing goes all the way back to the late 80s, early 90s, where the main guy was Hulk Hogan until Terry Bollea became racist and everything. But Hogan was my guy. So it went Hulk Hogan, then it went to Bret Hart. So it was really Hulk Hogan to begin with. Then mid late 90s, it was Bret Hart because I hated Shawn Michaels. Bret Hart was my guy. But there wasn't that connection on a deep level until The Rock. And it was huge because, wow, he looks like me. He's black. There was never been a black wrestling superstar of that magnitude. And people can say, oh, no, no, it shouldn't be about race. You won't know until you freaking know. So that connection was huge. So there was that connection like, wow, he's black, I'm black. Wow. You know, that's deep. The charisma, the stage presence, the finishing moves. It was to the point where I would mimic his moves. I'd be like, rock bottom. And I would do the moves on Friends and everything and stuff like that. So The Rock was huge, massive. I bought his book. I forgot what the name of his book is. I still have his book because I was obsessed with The Rock. Because this is when I was obsessed with wrestling, I was obsessed with The Rock. But I say to myself that how is a guy who I believe is arguably the most charismatic person on the planet, how has he not had a career where he's had like a movie that capitalizes on that charisma? How? Like, bro, I'm sorry. Like, I was there for Hogan. I was there for Macho Man. And this guy is all great in the rights. The most charismatic wrestler who oozed charisma is The Rock, bro. Bro, the guy, he invented a freaking segment. SmackDown was a term coined by The Rock. It was such a famous term, it became like a segment. So I said to myself that how is it that this guy doesn't really have that movie career which really sort of like shows his charisma on display? And I was like, it's simple. It's not a complete simple. There's The Rock and there's Dwayne Johnson. Those are two very different people. It's not the same person. But I said, no, no, it's not the same person. You see, a little tidbit about wrestling, and this goes deep. So Terry Bollea, that's Hulk Hogan. That's Hulk Hogan's real name. Hulk Hogan is just an exaggerated version of Terry Bollea. Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Jake the Snake, Big Boss Man, Mr. Perfect, Shawn Michaels, all these guys, they're just Sid Justice, Goldust, which is because I think his Rhodes as well. These are guys who are all exaggerated versions of themselves. These guys are not actors. They're not like dramatic actors who can envelop someone different. The characters you see from them in wrestling, they're just super crazy, extreme versions of what they truly are in real life. So, but with The Rock, it's a bit different because what has just been so strange is just how different he is from The Rock. So, Dwayne Johnson is arrogant, is self centered, and only cares for self. So, Dwayne Johnson still has that charisma, but just not to the same extent as The Rock. He does have that arrogance, and The Rock, that's what made him amazing, that he was very full of himself, was very arrogant. And that is just Dwayne Johnson to the extreme. But the issue here is, what the issue we now have is Dwayne Johnson has brought his real self into wrestling. And that doesn't work because we want to see The Rock. So that's just a little background. Let's talk about the dimensions of this whole Cody Rhodes thing. Bro, there is a very guys, I've known this from the get-go. I've known this from the get-go. So when you when you, from wrestling, from the beginning, whoever wins the Royal Rumble faces the defending champion at WrestleMania. I've known that from the get go. See, I almost watched wrestling in like over 10, 20 years now. But I know that that is how the story goes. Because the beauty of wrestling is that it's an ongoing story. So the beauty about Royal Rumble is not only, oh, who's going to win? And they'll be the last man standing with 30 superstars. Shout out to Ric Flair, who was, I think, the second or the third man in the 92 Royal Rumble and actually won the damn thing. The greatest Royal Rumble win ever. And also Shawn Michaels against Bret Hart, where he was hanging off the ropes and pissed me off. We know how that story goes. Whoever wins Royal Rumble faces the defending champion at WrestleMania. So the beauty of Royal Rumble is whoever wins, but whoever wins the event, but then winner of the event, but we now have a build-up towards a match, which is normally when WrestleMania takes place. Royal Rumble in January, and we have a build-up of storyline from January, February, and March to WrestleMania. That's how it goes. And people are used to that stuff. The Rock, why would you mess that up? The Rock made a crazy calculation. So your movie career, it has failed. In my view, the biggest success it's had is within the Fast and Furious. Baywatch failed, and Black Adam was trash. Black Adam is one of the worst superhero films I've ever seen in my life. It was atrocious. So it's failed in the movie career. You're not taking overtake you, and you're running back to wrestling. And you felt that with your popularity, they'll always love you because they'll always love me. The response for me is, at one point, it's surprising, but it's sort of like karma. Because it's like, you always thought that they'd love you no matter what. Who cares about Cody Rhodes? It's me, it's The Rock. They'll always love The Rock. I've got hundreds of millions of guys. I'm on Instagram doing all this stuff. They love me. But the response just shows that never assume. And it shows that, no, The Rock, you're not infallible. Or rather, Dwayne Johnson, you're not infallible. Because the reality of the matter is, wrestling is bigger than you. You're not bigger than wrestling. You're simply not. You see, now, I know Vince McMahon, there's some wild stuff Vince McMahon is doing, so I'll probably do another video on that. But why I appreciated Vince McMahon is that he came in as a character. He never put himself above everything and made himself the main guy as Vince McMahon, the character. Now, look, he screwed over a lot of guys, trust me. But as Vince McMahon, the character, he was the villain. And who was just there to be embarrassed, put over, mocked, destroyed, disgraced, and everything. Because Vince McMahon, he did everything to make people happy, to bring in the excitement. Because how wrestling works, if you run it, is what do the people want? What is the most exciting story? What is the most exciting thing? The Rock, you just coming back, having not competed really, not really been part of the storyline, just waltzing in and now facing Roman Reigns, who just happens to be your cousin at WrestleMania. That's not how the people work. Because the beauty of wrestling is it's a never-ending storyline. It's a story that just keeps on going and going and going. There is no end to it. That's the beauty. And because you've been following the storyline for such a long time, you can't just come in and just rupture that. No, because a big part of the storyline is, okay, so Cody Rhodes now wins Royal Rumble. Oh my gosh, now what would that? Because there's the euphoria of him winning Royal Rumble. Then there's now like the permutations of him now facing Roman Reigns. Because that's why I've just been looking at the comments and I love the reaction, because this is the best thing that could happen to Dwayne Johnson. Knock him down a few pegs. You're not the guy that people will always love. They love you. They also love you. Not always. Not always. So yeah, trust me, the right thing to do is for Cody Rhodes to fight Roman Reigns, because that's how it's supposed to work. And nobody is above the business. Nobody is above the storyline. No one ever is, bro. So yeah, man, it's good. But that's just what I was to say. Like, It's so crazy. A guy who I was such a fan of was literally like my idol, who I absolutely adored. He's just not the same guy. Like this guy, this Dwayne Johnson, the businessman, who is so cognizant of everything he makes, who is a trash actor. I mean, let's go. Dwayne Johnson is a horrible, horrible actor. The guy I see now is completely not the guy that I grew up watching and was a super fan of. You know, back in the Attitude Era against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Crazy, man. Crazy.